All right. Here we go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our very special Magical Kingdom East Coast Art Party free online tutorial. My name is Len, one of the team members here at East Coast Art Party, and yeah, you excited? This one is, in my opinion, awesome. I think it is right here in the picture, and it looks, to me, I can't paint with a lick, so to me it looks a little difficult, but it's not. He's going to go step by step. Our artist, Fairy Tale Damon, here today, who will be in here in just 1 second. I wanted to, if you've never joined us before, very quickly, you can, on this live feed, pause it, rewind it, forward, backward, 10 seconds. So don't worry if you get lost or if you miss a step. You can just rewind it and go through it again. Press pause anytime you need a bathroom break or anything else like that while you're going through it. And that's that. As far as equipment and as far as supplies today, we're obviously using a canvas. People have been using paper and wood and windows and I don't know, walls. We know everybody's been inside for a long time. That's why we continue to do these. We like connecting with you guys and giving you something that might fill a little bit of time and you might enjoy doing on any given day. So that's your canvas. You should also have, I think we're using all 5 paints today, which is their black, white, your red, yellow, and blue paints. We've got 3 brushes here. We've got your large brush, your medium brush, and your small brush. Might not need one this big if you're painting a smaller canvas. Anyway, those are the 3 brushes we're going to use. We've got a couple mixing plates here for you. I guess you just have 1 mixing plate and then you've got your buckets there. Okay. Yeah. And then you've got a little bit of water there as well to wash off your brush. That's pretty much it. The whole process is going to probably take just a little over an hour, start to finish. Most likely I'll find some trivia that I can ask you and maybe stump you along the way. But without further ado, let's bring in the biggest Disney character north of Disney World. Our artist, Damon.
He was stumped on that one.
You're indescribable today.
Are we all ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
I think I'm going to be the next big Disney star. What do you guys think? I'm ready to paint. I'm feeling pretty today, and I've got my lovely little princess wands that we're going to be using to paint this beautiful castle. Alright, this one's fairly simple. I like it. We're going to start off by making some purple. We're going to need a fair amount of this because we need a lot of it for our background. So we're going to take that large wand, fairy wand, and we're going to take a couple of big scoops of red over to our mixing plate. Just some red over to our mixing plate. Then we're going to start adding blue to that till we get a nice purple. Just whatever shade of purple you want. They're all going to be a little bit different. Whatever shade of purple you like. Anybody else dressed up as princesses today? Make sure you stir that really good. Then we're going to clean off our brush and we're going to dry it off. Because we want to start with small amounts of paint. There we go, that's nice. So clean off your brush in your water. And dry it off. Go. So, for the top half of this painting, we're going to be doing cross-hatching. And then the bottom half, we're going to be doing brush strokes going back and forth. So we'll start with this top half. It's going to be with the large brush. And we're going to use some of that purple and bits of white first. We're going to start in the center, cross-hatching. Just very small amounts of purple and a bunch of white, cross-hatching from the center out, picking up more purple as we get to the edges. Now, if you don't know what cross-hatching is, that's fine. It's like hashtagging, where you take your large brush, you do a little brush stroke one way, you tilt your wrist, and you do a brush stroke the other way. So it's like you're making a little X. But we want it nice and random. So I'm going to pick up some white and just a tiny little pinprick of purple. Let's figure out where. I don't want to get purple on my dress. Where the center of our canvas is, right about there. We're going to start cross-hatching. Very small amount of that purple and a whole bunch of white, so it's nice and light. Now we will be going back over this, so don't worry too much. We can make it lighter when we do our second coat. So I've got that little touch of purple and some white. Cross-hatching, I'll slow it down here. Let's go. Brush stroke one way, brush stroke the other way. And then they're nice and random. That's just the motion of your wrist. It's like you're making a little X. Now we're just picking up small amounts of purple as we work our way out so that it goes from light to dark. Again, we'll be doing a second coat on this, so don't stress. Just need to get a first coat. And make sure you paint the sides and the edges of that canvas. Now, one thing I did not come up with before this event, I think I need your guys' help. I don't have a Disney princess name. Didn't think of a Disney princess name. I was a little too busy going through my closet and seeing what I had. So any suggestions? Any suggestions for a name for this lovely Disney princess? Toss them in the comments there. So I'm still cross-hatching, taking more purple as I go to the edges. We don't want our paint to be too thick right now because we're going to have to do a second coat, like I said, after we do some work on our water. Just nice and thin, little bits at a time. Making those edges a little bit darker purple by just picking up more purple. See if that's straight. Pretty close. So again, don't worry about this too much. We're going to be doing a second coat. We're going to be doing it a little bit different. We're going to add a little something to it. So once we have that done, you don't have to worry about cleaning your brush out or anything. And again, if at all we're moving too fast today, all you have to do is hit pause. You can rewind. We also leave the videos up, so afterwards, I mean, you can come back, paint this again whenever, or, you know, if you need to take a break, go get yourself some coffee. I recommend country style. No free ads, country style. So after we've cross-hatched that top half, we're going to do the bottom half. And the bottom half isn't cross-hatching. It's going to be with brush strokes going back and forth between white and little bits of this purple. And we want this nice and streaky. So when we're doing it, we're not brushing over the same spot too many times. We just want to do a couple of brush strokes, pick up a little bit more paint, put some on, so that we get it nice and streaky. And it's a little bit more purplish down at the bottom. So again, we're going to start with the white and the purple near the halfway mark. Nice and streaky, getting a little bit more of purple as we work our way down. Nice long brush strokes, nice and streaky. Again, we're really spreading that paint out. Doesn't have to be a lot. We don't need big clumps of paint. The acrylic paint that we're using dries fairly quickly. Any acrylic paint dries fairly quickly. Doesn't have to be just ours. It's all the same, it's acrylic. We've also seen people do our events with markers, pencil crayons, watercolors, so it really doesn't matter what you use. We're just happy you guys are doing it. So nice and streaky, long brush strokes back and forth. I'll wait just a minute after I do this water before we do our second coat up top. Let you guys get caught up. Sometimes I move a little bit fast with the backgrounds, but that's because they're backgrounds. There's no need to stress about the background, because we're going to be putting stuff on top of this, building those layers. There we go. So my little water's done. We'll give you guys just a minute. But I am going to clean out my brush. I'm going to dry it off. Gonna take a little coffee break, country style. Excuse me. So we're gonna be doing a second coat on our top half. Then we're gonna take an actual drying break, because we're gonna need this to be dry before we do anything else after we do that second coat. One thing that you guys will need, or it helps, definitely helps, is either a pencil or a piece of chalk pencil crayon, anything at all. Something to do some drawing on here. I wouldn't recommend a pen, but I think most of us have pencils lying around, or a piece of chalk. Because we're going to do a little bit of drawing for this castle. I broke it down to basic shapes. I'll make it easier for you. Alright, I think that's long enough. So we're going to go back to our top half, and we're going to start the same way. We're going to start with some white cross-hatching, picking up some purple as we go, and then some more purple around the edges. Now, when we get to the edges here, we are going to do something a little different. We're going to add a tiny, itty-bitty little bit of black. But I'll explain that when I get there. So a little bit of white again. I'm going to start with some more cross-hatching in the center, same way we did before. Tiny little bits of purple. It's just a nice second coat. With this second coat, you can always change up the spots. Maybe you put on a little bit too much purple to begin with. Maybe you didn't put enough. That's why we do the second coat, to kind of tweak it. But again, it's background. Background. It's all good. Little bits at a time. And it just gets darker on the outsides, which means I'm just picking up more purple. Now, if your purple is really dark around the corners, you may not have to do this next step. I'm going to do it just to show you. But just around the corner, here and here, and the top, it's a touch darker. And the way to do that, now again, take your time. I'm just explaining this, and then we're going to take a drying break to let this all dry so people can get caught up, refill your coffees, do whatever you got to do. The way I'm going to do the darker bit is I still have some purple on my brush, and I'm going to take just a pinprick, just a little tiny, tiny bit of black, the smallest amount on your brush, because a little bit goes a long way. Just the tiniest little bit, can't stress that enough. And we're going to crosshatch some of that around our corners, so I still have purple on my brush. I'm picking up very, very small amounts of black. Doing some more cross-hatching so that we get darker corners. Because when it comes to black, you can always add more, but it's really hard to take away. Stand back, take a little look. Yeah, looking all right. just made those two corners and the top just a touch darker. And like I said, we're going to take a drying break to let this dry. So we'll give you a few minutes there. If you're wondering about trivia, don't worry. We'll get you some in a minute here. And we'll be right back. All right, so we're still taking a little drying break, but I figured I'll ask a trivia question. Len just ran out to hunt us down some coffee. So the trivia question is, maybe this is an easy one, I don't know. It might be an easy one. Who was the first ever Disney princess? And it wasn't me. I know I should have been. But who was the first Disney princess? We'll go with that. And then I've got a follow-up question once we get the answer to that. So let this dry. Don't Google the answer. I want to hear your guesses. And we'll be back. Okay, that question was too easy. I took a look at the comments and like everybody got the right answer right off the bat. So the first Disney princess was Snow White. You guys got it right. So I'm going to give you a follow-up question to that, since you were so quick. And don't Google it. What year did Snow White first appear? What year did Snow White first appear? Let's see if that one actually stumps you guys, because the other one didn't. I'm sorry, I'm not as good at trivia as Len is. He's always got the good ones. So one thing I noticed about mine is up here, a little too dark. We want to add a little bit more light to it. So we can all do that right now, and then we're going to jump down to some trees. The way we're going to do that is with our large brush and just a little bit of white. Just going to crosshatch a touch more in, brighten it up a touch. But they're all going to be different, okay? There's no wrong way to do this. They're all going to look different. I'm just lighten it up a touch with a touch of white. It's a little bit brighter. Like I said, no wrong way to do this. Doesn't matter how many times I paint this. It always looks a little bit different, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. It's a castle. There we go. That looks a little bit brighter for me. I'm happy with that. So we're done with that large brush for now. Put him to the side here. The next thing we got to do is we have to take our medium brush, or our medium magical shooting star wand. And down at the bottom here, we're going to put in some trees. These are going to be done in black. I'm just going to adjust this here. We're going to put in some little trees down at the bottom with some black. The way we're going to do the trees is with that medium brush, we're going to do dabbing. So we're just lightly dabbing our canvas. I'm going to show you, so just watch for now. You guys can get it. Lynn's looking at the comments, she's a little confused. I asked trivia.
No, what questions did you ask?
Well, first I asked them who was the first Disney princess, and they all got it.
Okay.
It was Snow White.
Okay. Yep.
And then I asked them, well, when did Snow White make her first appearance?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, while people are on the trivia, I have a question for everyone. I want to know, since we are painting the Magical Kingdom today.
Oh, I didn't tell them the answer yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, so yeah. Do you know the answer?
I do.
Of course. Go ahead.
It was 1937.
Wow.
Snow White made her first appearance in 1937.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That is not yesterday.
Not yesterday. Okay, now Len can continue. Sorry about that, guys.
So my trivia question is, we are painting the Magical Kingdom. What year did the Magical Kingdom open?
Ah. What year did the Magical Kingdom open? That's a good one.
Yeah. Was not yesterday.
It was not yesterday.
I would think a lot of folks that are watching today, I'll give you a little hint, wouldn't be born.
So it was a little while ago.
It was a while ago.
All right, back to our trees here. The way we're going to do these. Medium brush and dabbing with some black. Light little dabs. We're going to dab a line down. You'll see in a second. Then we're going to turn our brush sideways and we're going to dab in some branches. And the branches get wider as we get to the bottom. So let's start with one big one over here so you can see it. So lightly dabbing. This is not a brush stroke. This is lightly dabbing a line down. And we turn our brush so that it's sideways. And we're going to dab short little ones at the top. Again, light dabs. We're going to start making them a bit longer and thicker as we work our way down. We don't want these to be perfectly straight. It's a tree. As good old Rob Boss would say, trees don't grow straight. They grow whoever makes them happy. I believe Rob Boss is making another appearance tomorrow night as well. He's coming back. So little dabs, nice and light. So we're making these branches a little bit longer, a little bit fuller as we work our way down. And we start making them longer and fuller as we work our way down. If your tree branches are turning out to be a little bit too straight and a little bit too uniform, that's fine. Because you can just pick up some more black paint, go back and do some more dabbing. Every tree's gonna look a little different. There we go. Then we're gonna put one little guy right over here. Again, dabbing a line down, turning our brush, skinnier at the top, making those branches a little bit longer and a little bit fuller as we work our way down. And we've got our happy little trees on. We're going to do one more thing with this black. Then we're going to need our pencils or our chalk or whatever we can find. All we're going to do with this black is we're going to paint a perfectly straight line across our canvas. Kidding, doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Right where our middle is, we just want to paint a black line across our canvas. There we go. So I'll give you guys just a second to do that, and then I'm going to bring out a little drawing I did that breaks down the shape of our castle. So after the trees, we painted a line across, and then we're going to draw in our castle. So when did the magical castle open, Len?
A lot of people got this right. It is 1971.
1971.
Yeah.
A little while ago.
So next year will be the 50th year.
Oh, wow.
Of the Magic Kingdom, which makes me
that.
feel really old since I was born in the 70s.
Len, you gotta stop aging yourself with these questions, man.
You know what? You're only as old as you feel, right, David?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
All right,
Sure.
good. Glad we will.
Yes,
We will.
Okay, so with our pencil or our chalk, we're gonna lightly put in some rectangles and triangles for our castle. Now I drew this out in big, bold black so that you guys can see it. You're gonna make it a little bit smaller than my drawing, because my drawing is very, very big. Because we want our castle right about here, so it's off to the left-hand side. Okay? And it is just rectangles and triangles. Just swap these out. I'll explain it, don't worry, I'm not just going to leave you hanging. It's a whole bunch of rectangles, I know. The one that you want to start with, though, is the one right in the middle. Nice, tall rectangle. That's going to be the middle of our castle. And then we can just work to either side. We have our nice middle rectangle. We can go over to this tower, see how it's a little bit higher of a rectangle. And it's got a triangle on the top. Same with the guy on the right, he's even a little bit taller. And a triangle on the top. And we're just putting in rectangles, starting from here, one at a time, working your way over. Because I know it's a lot to look at it all together, so look at one at a time. One rectangle, one triangle. Start with the one in the middle, and work over. One piece at a time. Light little pencil lines or chalk lines so that you can see them. You don't need to press too hard. And that way you can erase a little bit if you need to. But it's a magical castle. So again, it's one rectangle and one triangle at a time. Don't try and look at it all. Let's just do one piece and work our way from the center to either side. I'm going to leave that up there for a couple minutes so you guys can take your time with it. I'm going to go pencil mine in. Then I'll come back and we'll start some painting. Just take it easy, nice and slow, one at a time. Okay.
Welcome back, Princess Damon.
I'm a pretty princess.
You don't get pigtails like that without being a princess.
These take time. These take time. Okay. If you need a little bit more time with that, like we said before, you can hit pause, you can rewind, but I have mine done up on here. Now, you might not be able to see it on mine, but I can see it. That's what counts. You need to be able to see yours. A little adjustment here. Now, depending on the size of your canvas, it's going to depend which brush you use. Since I'm doing a bigger canvas and my castle's a little bit bigger, I'm going to use my medium brush. If you're doing a smaller canvas, use a smaller brush. Use your little tiny guy. First thing we're going to do is we're going to paint in the shapes that we put on in black. We're going to paint in just those shapes. Then we're all going to take our little brush and we're going to start tweaking those shapes and adding a few things. But to start, paint in just your pencil or chalk lines with black. What about some more Disney trivia? Len's a huge Disney fan.
Yeah, sure am.
Like, you know how some guys have like their basements done out with sports gear and hockey teams or whatever? Len has got a whole Disney room. It's just Disney. Right?
Sure, Damon. Sure. I do like Disney. I do like Disney.
You do like Eamon? I hope you like Eamon.
Yeah, he's alright.
I like him.
No, he's just fair. All right. Here's another kind of a general question for folks. I'm going to throw this up here on the feed as well. I would like to know how many Disney parks are there in the world? Now, don't Google this, because it'll tell you right away. Take a guess. I want to see some good guesses.
Yeah, no Googling.
We know one's in Florida. We all know that one. That's the one we're painting.
So we're just painting in our rectangles and our triangles right now. We're going to give these a little bit more shape afterwards. But everything we paint can always be broken down into its basic shapes. For this, rectangles and triangles. And then you just tweak those. You always take them one step further. And that's how we get the pictures that we do. I always think it's cool taking it from basic shapes, adding a little bit more, and then it gives you whatever you're drawing. we go. So there's my basic shapes painted in. Then we need to take our little tiny brush. And we got to add some more to these. So little tiny brush and black. We're going to start adding some flags, a few extra little curves. So I'm just extending off of my triangle. A little flag. Bring this one up a little higher. So I had my triangle. I put a little line going higher. And then a little curved flag. We're in the middle here, where we have our rectangle. Kind of looks like Batman. Batman a Disney princess? I think Batman should be a Disney princess if he's not.
Batman, a Disney princess?
Yeah, isn't Batman a Disney princess? Oh.
You definitely don't know. Because Batman is definitely not a Disney princess.
What?
That's crazy.
Batman's owned by Disney, right?
Actually, that I don't know.
Ah,
That I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it is. So that makes him a Disney princess.
No, it's Marvel.
Oh. Anyway. Let's get back to painting. Sorry.
There's only one Disney princess in this studio right now, and that's the one with the tiara holding a paintbrush with a shooting star on it.
Lovely. Love it. So again, for a flag, I'm just adding a skinny line going up from my triangle. Then on the edge of it, we put in a little flag. With our little brush, we're just adding a few more details. The flags are important. Rectangle. I'm just going to curve it down, add a little bit more to it. There we go. Take your time with this. This is the hardest part of the painting, is just getting this in. Stand back here, take a look. Yeah, that's a castle. Now we are going to go back to our medium brush now, and our medium brush and black. And see how along our line here, it's just straight. We want to add the hint of like a little forest. So with that medium brush and a little bit of black, I'm going to use the wide side of it, and we're just going to lightly press against the canvas, and do some light little flicks going up from that line. And that's going to give us a little hint of a forest. You can wet your brush just a touch to help the black flow a bit better. And see how it gives us just those little hint of a forest in the background there. So that's just coming up from our line. Light, very lightly. Don't press very hard.
I'll bring that in front of the camera just to give
Yeah,
folks an idea.
yeah, that's a great idea. Sorry.
That's okay.
How is that?
Yeah, looking good. Looking good.
So it's light little brush strokes going up, and it gives us that little hint.
Yeah, so you don't brush down at all.
No,
Just
no,
brush
you
up
go
and
from
release.
the line up.
Yep.
Line up.
All right, while folks are doing that, I'm going to give you the answer. There are, okay, so kind of a trick question, because I said how many Disney parks are out there. Well, most locations have more than one park. So in total,
tricky.
yeah, there's 6 Disney resorts, which would include all the parks all over the world: California, Florida, Tokyo, Paris, Hong Kong, and China. But there is a total of 12 parks. So I was, if you guessed 6,
They're not wrong.
you're not wrong. Definitely not wrong.
I mean, you're not right, but you're not wrong.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll bring this closer to the camera in a second here. On the edge, I'm just doing some flicks, still just going from the line up, nice and light. These ones are a little bit longer. Right about there.
Yeah.
Nice and light little flicks going up. They're always going from the line up. See how they get a little longer, so it's a little taller on that side.
I'm going to ask a question. This is not a trivia question. This is, I just want to know, who is your favorite Disney character? No, Princess Damonalicious. What's yours, Damon? What do you think?
My favorite Disney princess.
No, Disney character. It doesn't even need to be a princess.
Oh, Disney character.
You could guess Dopey if you wanted to.
Are you trying to hint at something, Len?
Well, Sleepy Dopey.
That's why I always have my country style.
So, I think mine would have to be Goofy.
Goofy?
Gorge. Yeah, big time.
It suits you, Goofy.
Yeah, I like Goofy. He was my favorite. And I always liked it when I saw the dog.
Yeah. I haven't had to think about my favorite Disney character in a while, but for a long time, I always loved Dumbo. Dumbo was
Dumbo?
Yeah.
Big ears?
Yeah, I liked Dumbo.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
God, when's the last time you'd watch, you've got...
When I watched a Disney movie?
When have you watched
Last
Dumbo
night.
last?
No. When have I watched Dumbo last? Oh, I don't even know.
Exactly. Me neither. I was definitely as young as some of our listeners here.
Yeah.
I think, or painters.
Well, maybe we'll watch some Dumbo tonight. We'll see.
We got
Maybe this
Elsa and Olaf. That would be popular right now.
Well, of course, they are awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I still gotta watch Frozen 2. I haven't seen that one yet.
Just been released on
Disney Plus. Yes.
Yeah, got the email.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Alrighty, I think that's long enough for those. Now we're gonna move down to our shadow. Now this is a tricky part. Okay? So I want you to really take your time with it. Can't stress that enough. Really take your time with it. After we get the shadow in, though, the rest of this is super easy. You got this. We're going to water down a little bit of black.
You want to show them how to water it down? What do you do?
Nope, that's all the instruction you're getting. Have
Doesn't
fun.
everybody like sarcastic David?
The sarcastic princess.
Yeah. That's what you can be known for.
Yes. So yes, I will show you how to water it down. Len just interrupted me.
I had a little
little pause.
Sure that I am the audience here.
It's all about you, Len.
Yeah, it's all about the crowd.
So we're going to water down a little bit of black. Just a little bit. I'm going to talk this through a couple of times. We're going to put it on really lightly. I want you to take your time with it. I took just a little touch of black onto my mixing plate. Then I start adding some water to it. So I'm just dipping my brush in the water a few times, more than once. Doing this quite a few times. We want this really watery. See how it's running on my plate? Oh, just about dropped it. It's super watery. It's just like black water. That's all that we're looking for. Is just a little bit of black water. You want it to run like water, just black water. If you think you've added enough water to it, add a bit more and you're probably good. That's truth. Every time I've taught black wash, I say that and it works. And we're going to take our time with it. I want you to go really slowly. After we mix it up though, wipe your brush off really, really well. Because a tiny bit of this is going to go a long way. So our black wash is nice and thin, super watery. We're going to take a tiny little bit on our brush and we're going to wipe it on the side of our plate because we don't want this to drip down our canvas. We just want a tiny little bit on our brush and then wipe it on the side of your plate. And lightly, we're going to start brushing this down from our black line, giving the idea of a reflection of these trees that we put in, or this forest that we put in, sorry. We're starting with this so that you guys can see how the black wash works, because this is an easy fix. If we put a little bit too much on there, we can wipe it off. Black wash is fixable as long as you fix it right away, and we don't want it to drip. So just make sure you have some paper towel on hand. Very little bits when you pick some up. I know I'm repeating myself, but I have to and I want to, so that we all do this right. Picking up a little bit, wiping it on the side of your plate. We're going to lightly start from our line. Little brushes coming down. I'll give you a close-up view of this in a second. But I only picked up that little bit. I wiped it on the side of my plate, and see how far it goes? That little bit really goes a long way, because it's just giving us a little shadow. I haven't picked up any more yet. Just that little bit that I started with. We're just doing little brush strokes down from our black line. You're going to go a little bit slower than me. I just want to get you guys a close-up view. Right about there. There's our shadow of those trees. I only picked up a tiny bit. I wiped it off on the side of my plate. We start at the line and lightly do brush strokes going down. And that's how we put in a shadow. Small, small, small amounts at a time. We can still kind of see through it. It's a shadow. If it's too dark with your first few brush strokes, you can wipe it away with some paper towel, and you can add some more water into your black wash. Just make sure to wipe your brush off before you start painting again. If it's too thin and you can't really see it on your water, that means we added a little too much water to our black wash. We need to add a little bit more paint. Take your time with that. Again, we start over here so that if we accidentally make a mistake with those first few, we can get rid of it. Just a little shadow. We're going to add a little shadow on the other side where our forest would be. Again, very small amounts. here, did here. Now that we know how to use blackwash and how little it takes, we need to add in the reflection of the castle. I wonder how many people just panicked when I said that. The reflection of the castle. We're not looking for an exact copy of our castle in the water. We're not looking for the exact same shapes upside down in our water. It's a reflection. We're given the idea that we have a reflection in there. So we're going to start in the center, and then we're going to start putting in the sides, one little tower at a time. Like I said, we're not looking for an exact copy in the water. Small amounts of blackwash. If you guys are still working on your trees, that's fine. I'm going to put in my little reflection. We're going to get you a close-up view of it so you can see that we're not looking for an exact copy. That would be the center here.
Anybody else have "Let It Go" in their head right now?
Let it go, let it go.
Oh, wow. For a princess, you do not sing that well. I don't
The
know.
cold doesn't bother me anyway.
Kind of bothers me a little bit. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't bother everybody else a little bit. But.
You guys are lucky I can paint better than I can sing.
We're all lucky, yeah.
So we're putting in our little castle, one little rectangle, triangle at a time. Just the idea of a reflection. It's not an exact copy. We'll take a little break after I do this so you guys can just take a look at it, get yourself caught up. See how it's not an exact copy? I know, I'm repeating that a few times. It's a reflection in the water. The reflection in the water would be a little bit rough, a little distorted. I'll leave that up here for a few minutes. Take a little drying break, and then we'll be back. Alrighty. There we go. We're back. We got our little shadow in. How do we all do with that? Again, we always repeat this. If that was too quick for you, just hit pause. You can rewind. No worries, no stress. But we do need to clean out our our medium brush.
All right, I do have a good trivia question for everyone out there. I want to know, speaking of Disney princesses, the answer is not Damon.
The answer is always Damon.
Who is the only Disney princess who was inspired by an actual person?
Who is the only Disney princess that was inspired by an actual person? That's a good question.
Great question.
So we've got our medium and small brush nice and clean. We need to make another color. With our medium brush, we need to make a pale yellow. Whenever we're mixing colors, we start with our lighter color first, and we add the other one into it. So we're going to start with a nice big scoop of white. Right there. I'm trying not to get my black into it. And then we're going to add little bits of yellow till we get a nice pale yellow. Nice pale yellow. And again, always wipe your brush off before we start painting. First thing we're going to do with this lovely pale yellow, put in some lanterns. These are just using the medium brush. We're just making like little rectangles, just nice and thin. One. Put a few over here. And put a few over here. Some a little bigger, some a little smaller.
Got a guess, Damon, for the only Disney princess that is inspired by an actual person? Love this question.
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Jasmine.
It is not Jasmine.
I don't know.
It is Pocahontas.
Oh, that makes sense.
Absolutely.
I didn't think that one through.
Yeah.
I feel like I knew that. I failed. I'm sorry, guys. Yes, Pocahontas. Completely forgot about her. So we put in some lanterns. Then we're going to take our little brush with the pale yellow, and we're going to add some dots of yellow around these lanterns in our sky, and some in the reflection of our water. And again, they're not perfect circles. These are just little, quick, short dots. These would be lanterns that are like way off in the distance.
A lot of good guesses. I don't know if anybody got this one right. No, not yet. All right, so I'm going to ask another one then. This is kind of a fun one. So you know the Walk of Fame where they have their names on, the tiles on the ground.
Yeah.
Which Disney princess has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Oh. Again, that's another tricky one.
Yeah, these are good questions.
These are good ones. My questions to start were nothing compared to this. Jeez.
I stepped it up a notch.
I'm sorry. I gotta up my game. So they're just little reflections of lanterns. And we are going to use some of this pale yellow in our castle. First spot, we're going to do it a little arch in the center, like a little half circle. Then we're going to start putting on little dots for windows. Pale yellow, little brush, nice and light. These guys left their lights on. Maybe they're all staying in the castle, doing that social distancing thing like they should be.
Absolutely. Rapunzel.
Rapunzel.
The queen of social distancing up in the top of the castle.
Yeah, she's got this. She's got this. Let's all be more like Rapunzel. I'd like to be quarantined in a castle.
Could be worse places.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think most people don't mind being home. I think it's that they miss their friends. They miss their social time.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
We got this. We can do it.
Oh, yeah. And you guys can always, set up your FaceTime with your friends, paint along, so you guys are doing it as a group. I'm sure there's ways to do all of that. There's a lot of things online these days to keep everybody busy.
Video games nowadays, everything's online.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just doing little dots for the windows. I got all those lights on. I'm going to add just a couple of these down into my shadow nice and lightly. I'm not trying to copy the exact locations. Just going to add a few. There we go. Looking good, looking good. And of course we clean out that little brush and we dry it off. One more color we gotta make. One more color, guys. We're gonna make a pale blue. And to make a pale blue, you of course start with white. I'm going to use my little brush because we don't need very much of this. We got white and we're going to add a little bit of blue to it. There we go. And then pale blue, we're going to add some little dots. Little dots, little rectangles, quick little brush strokes. So we get some different colored lanterns here. So what is the answer to that trivia question, Len? I'm dying to know. I'm gonna guess Cinderella.
I think a lot of people guess Cinderella, but you already have mentioned the original Disney princess.
Snow White?
Snow White has a star in the Walk of Fame.
Wow.
Yeah.
The more you know.
All right. June is looking for a little close-up of what you've got going on there right now. So I think
Sure,
that's a fair
June.
request.
That is a fair request. Just wait 1 second. There we go. Excuse me. How's this on camera? We have it all. Whoop. There we go, right there. So with the pale yellow, we did our lanterns and some little dots. And then we also added in, excuse me, our arch and our windows. As you can see in the reflection, I added a few in there as well. Not as many, just a couple so that we can see a couple. Then we went with our small brush and we made some pale blue. And we added in a bunch more of those pale blue lanterns. Nice and little, up in the sky and down in our water. Alright, again, if you need to, you can pause. I think that was pretty good. I think that might have answered your questions there, June. So whenever you're finished with all of that, and we have our lovely little castle done, you have to do the most important step of any painting, which is...
You gotta sign it!
Gotta sign it!
You gotta sign. Did you do close-up for June?
Yep, I did the close-up, held it there, I explained everything.
Nice.
I think that's good.
I can't wait to see what. Well, I'll let you finish off there. I think you're just
Yeah,
good.
that's
Well
it.
done.
We just gotta sign it, and then we're done.
Awesome.
And I'll scoot out here and let Len
Yeah, I'll do
finish up.
the outro. All right. Well, thanks very much, Damon, and I'm really curious to see how everyone's turned out. This is one of my favorite paintings that we did. I always thought it was really, really challenging, but the way he breaks it down was pretty good. So I can't wait to see what you guys have as your paintings. We have we have actually a lot of new events launched. If you haven't seen already, check out our events tab on our Facebook site. We've got I think events right up until Monday, Sunday, something like that. Including a superheroes one. We've got this unicorn that's coming. Another Rob Boss event coming as well. So yeah, take a look at those. See if any of them interest you. And as always, we have some supplies here. Just head to our website if you'd like to buy some supplies. In the meantime, any kids in here who just spent an hour and a half with Damon or whatever, go give your parents a hug. Let them know that you appreciate them letting you, giving them the supplies and everything else like that. Tell them how much you appreciate it, how much you liked it. And with all that being said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. and we'll see you next time.